Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Yesterday the good old developers from 11th Hour Games dropped 3 new uniques that we are going to be getting for the up and coming 0.8.3, and that update is supposedly hopefully coming at the end of August. And we're going to dissect these 3 items today. Should be a little bit of a quicker video, but these items have some affixes that we have never seen before. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to support smaller channels. All right, let's jump right into this. I want to start off by saying that 11th Hour Games does not make using uniques easy. You have to decipher them and break down what builds actually work with them. And it's not a bad thing. Other ARPGs, it's like, oh, this is a unique item for endgame cold spell builds. This is an endgame item for melee physical. It's normally very straightforward, and it is not like that. Check out this first item. Lethal Concentration. It is a 2-handed polearm. Implicits plus 78 melee physical damage and 110% increased poison damage. So you're going to know right off the bat, this is obviously for hitting melee, and you will be doing poison. Let's continue. 195% increased melee damage. We already knew that this is for melee, but look at the next one. 178% increased minion damage. So now you're at melee, poison, minion. So we'll start working what build this would work for, because I think I've got it. Next, plus 25% chance to cast Jade Dust on hit with Harvest. Jade Dust is a non-stacking buff that grants your minions 50% chance to poison, tripled for throwing attacks. Remember that. So now you've got Harvest, minion, melee, poison. Next, your poison damage modifiers also apply to your skeleton rogues. Oh, now I've got a good idea for this. Your generic damage and poison damage are shared as poison damage, but your poison ailment stats are not. Last but not least, 8% of minion poison damage leached as health to you. This is the first time that affix, well, a lot of these were the first time the affixes have been on there, but that's the first time I have seen that a minion doing damage will heal you. Normally it's the minion doing damage will heal the minion, or if you're doing damage, you're healing yourself. But no, your minions doing damage will keep you alive with this item. Very, very powerful, okay? Skeleton rogues, Harvest, minion damage, melee, poison. In my head, you know it has to be an acolyte. We don't have warlock yet, and even though rogues are in here, it doesn't make sense for Necro, because Necro, you're not going to really use poison, and you're for sure not going to use melee, in my opinion, which means this is an item for a Lich. Lich works very well with Harvest, and since this item will make it so that your poison damage is shared also with your skeleton rogues, it's going to help heal you with your rogues doing damage, and the rogues should be able to do damage. Let's actually check out that skill really quick. So I'm logged into my Fire Necro right here under Summon Skeleton, and then as you go up the Summon Skeleton tree, you'll see right here, Skeleton Rogue. Add skeleton rogues to the pool of skeletons that can be summoned. Rogues teleport to distant enemies. It's a pretty cool skeleton. I don't see a lot of people using it, because normally at this point, if you're still using skeletons, at least for endgame, you are using ranged archers. That's what I see more often than not. But watch this, okay? Right here, Acid Flask. Skeleton rogues throw acid flasks, which inflict poison and armor shred on hit. Acid Flask has a 5-second cooldown. And right here, you can also have it where skeleton rogues gain the amount of increased cooldown recovery divided by the maximum number of summoned skeleton rogues. Okay? So, obviously, with this new item, you would take adds rogues, and then you would add Acid Flask. And if you remember, now we're going to back out of the game, lethal concentration is going to give you Jade Dust. And like I said a second ago, Jade Dust makes it so your minions have a 50% chance to poison. But if you remember the end of that, tripled for throwing attacks. And what is Acid Flask? It's a throwing attack, which means all of your skeleton rogues, when they are doing their Acid Flask, they're going to have a 150% chance to poison. On top of that, with this item, they are going to share your poison damage. Which then leads us to, since you have to use Harvest to get this to work, can you change Harvest as a Lich into a poison skill? Great question. And the unfortunate answer to that question is no. There's no way to turn Harvest into a poison skill. You cannot do it with the current scaling tags. But that doesn't mean that this build is done. Just so you know, this is what I do when I am creating a build. I go through this style of process. Follow me. The person that designed this item is a genius. Because even though Harvest can't be a poison skill, it can still help poison. It can still affect poison. Look at this with ailments. You can make this 100% poison chance, 50% poison duration, but this is the kicker, 100% poison resistance shred chance. So you could be shredding enemies' armors as your rogues are chucking acid flasks. And a lot of people don't know this because they don't use it, because most of the time liches don't use minions, but Harvest also has something else right here. Legion of the Lich. You can get it up to 250% increased minion crit chance by using Harvest. And even though that item makes it where you can't use the poison ailments, they can definitely use the crit chance, and they can definitely use the resistance, or the resistance shred chance. So you could still tie everything together, and remember that they're going to be leeching their poison damage, so all those acid flasks back to you. There's plenty more to come in this video, but first, if you're new here, welcome. Obviously, you have stumbled upon the coolest ARPG site on YouTube, so please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know anytime I drop a video. We also have a full merch store on the channel available under the store tab. Lastly, we have officially dropped memberships for the channel, 5 tiers available. It is the best way to support me and my journey on YouTube. As always, thank you all for the support. The next 2 items I'm going to go through pretty quick. This is supposed to be a fast video, but that first item had me so excited because I love minions so much. And anyways, we're going to go through these 2 quick. Salt of the Wound. These are unique gloves, and you can use them at level 62. Plus 30 to armor, 25% increased critical strike chance. So far, nothing exciting. Yet. 30% increased critical strike multiplier. Yes, we love crit multiplier. 31% increased damage over time. 40% physical resistance. 19% poison resistance. It's really interesting, the poison at 19. I don't know. But look at these other 2. 59% of added critical strike multiplier converted to bleed effectiveness. It's very cool. 34% added critical strike multiplier converted to poison effectiveness. And this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning. Not straightforward, right? You've got crit chance, crit multiplier. You've got 2 different resistances in there. You have damage over time, you have bleed, and you have poison. Now, are there builds where you will use poison and bleed? Yes, but normally we focus on one. It is a poison build, just like what we just did in the last item. Or it is a bleed build. Well, these gloves are going to make it where your build should be poison and bleed. Moving on to the last item. Marinas Lost Soul, which is a unique wand that unlocks at level 78. So it is definitely considered an endgame item. Level 78. Now, I normally love wands. I get really excited for wands, and this is an Acolyte wand as well. Now, I'm not sure exactly how I would use it yet. There's a couple of ideas floating around. I'm not going to go over them. Video be way too long, but the first implicit stat is very sad, okay? Plus 38 adaptive spell damage. Now, that is the quintessential affix that you want to be as high as possible to really push up your damage numbers. The highest end wand that you could just craft is plus 62. And if you're using a scepter, plus 65. So you're talking about right there, you're down 24, 20, 26 compared to those. So it does give you increased necrotic damage plus 33%, plus 23 spell necrotic damage, plus 153% increased spell damage. That is huge. 19% increased cast speed. That is huge. But here we go. Meat and potatoes. 20% increased effect of possessed inflicted by hungering souls per stack of damned on you, up to 140%. Yes, that's correct. On you. So when you have damned on you, it's going to increase the effect of your hungering souls. And since Acolyte right now, again, doesn't have Warlock, and I don't know if I've seen a Necro that uses hungering souls, this is another Lich item. It's for sure. You are damned when you cast a spell. Damned is a stacking ailment that lasts 3 seconds, deals 25 base necrotic damage, and reduces health regeneration by 20%. So basically, when you cast a spell, you are hurting yourself, and you're hurting yourself, and you're hurting yourself over and over and over again. And as that stacks, your hungering souls have increased effect. So you got to have a way to get your life back so that as you're hurting yourself, you're doing more damage. Totally possible. But that's ultimately what it's saying. That's really weird, this last affix. Minus 45 health. And then at the bottom it says increases your maximum health. All right, so I don't know what that's about, but definitely different. Will I try it? Of course. Will I make it work? I don't know. But those are the 3 new items. I'm sure you could tell that I'm really excited to see what I can come up with skeleton rogues. All right, everyone, that's the video. What do you think of the 3 new uniques that we are getting for 0.8.3? You have to remember, we have 25 new uniques coming. It actually says 25 plus. That is only 3 of them. Let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now over 1,000 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together, so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. I hope you all enjoyed this too long video breaking down the 3 new uniques. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.